What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to Real Reds Talk. My name is Sam, joined by Shreyas. Manchester United have drawn 1-1 with Fiorentina in the game. We have ended up winning 5-4 on penalties. I didn't know there was a penalty shootout. I don't think Shreyas knew there was going to be a penalty shootout, but there was. So there you go. We have won the Snapdragon Cup. So that's 2 trophies now in a matter of weeks.
Yay.
Come on. Yeah, Shreyas, before we get into sort of
Yeah.
specifics and individual players and stuff, overall thoughts on the game. Like, what did you come away watching that?
I think you can term it as a happy-go-lucky game. It was just you could see both teams. They had moments of brilliance. Even I think Fiorentina, for that matter, actually did trouble us in a couple of moments in that game. And for sure, I think Moise Keane was someone who looked quite decent.
Yeah, it's a problem.
And yeah, he had been a problem, and that was something that I was worried about, because in the Prem there are a lot of players who fit that sort of a profile that we are going to be coming up against. And I think definitely there were little troubling signs. I think centrally we were a bit weak.
Yes.
I think Fagioli, I think it was the midfielder Fiorentina's. I think he had a lot of joy in that midfield, was able to find acres of space at in certain moments. But overall, I think the attack looks quite fluent.
Yeah.
I think pressing wise, the attack is probably one of the best that I've seen in quite some time at United, because the way Mount, Mbumo, Cunha, Ahmad, and then Dorgu also aggressed from the back line, it was quite good to see. I think as a deep lying player, the way Bruno switches out the ball every single time, I think that opened up a lot of space as well. And overall, you could see the intent from both Mbumo as well as Cunha. Whenever they were on the ball, they looked very agile. They looked very intuitive. And on top of that, they looked raring to go every single time. It wasn't that, they are shying away from the ball. They wanted more of the ball. They wanted to be more involved inside the box, which is quite great to see from the perspective, of them being new signings and them having their first games at Old Trafford. So overall, I'm quite happy with the attack. Midfield, I think Bruno did quite well again.
Yep.
I think again, there were moments when, as a partnership, Bruno and Casemiro weren't really complementing each other. There were definitely those moments, but I think as a deep lying playmaker, if you get the right person behind him, I think he's going to be instrumental for us when it comes to opening up space every single time he's on the ball. I think wing backs wise, Ahmad looked quite lively today. I think Dorgu again, physicality wise, was up there again. Pressing wise, I think that Dorgu and Cunha relationship is building up quite well. And I'm quite happy to see that building, because you got the perfect blend of, aggressiveness as well as, pace. So that is going to be a troublesome area for opposition teams to, shut out our left flank. On the same hand, our right flank performs quite better as well at the moment. Midfield is a concern, definitely, because
we'll get into the midfield for sure.
We look at the defense. Maguire looked quite good. Had a shot from, I don't know where he got that space and he went for that shot, but it was quite a decent shot. Aiden Heaven looked better, I would say, in comparison to the Everton game, but there were still certain areas where he looked a bit off it, I would say.
Yeah.
Euro, again, I think he's going to be a massive figure for us in that backline this year. I think his recovery pace, and even when you say, when we are building up from the back, the way he accumulates and runs in, in and around the box, I think Lenny Euro is going to be something, he's going to be a big troublesome character for opposition teams. And I'm quite happy to see our youngsters actually stepping up to the plate. And these guys are not even 22 or 23. These are very, very young players. So for them to be stepping up to the plate alongside, an experienced figure like Maguire in that back line, it is the perfect blend of experience and youth that you would want in that department. Bindy didn't have much to do, I would say, in that game. Barring, I would say, a couple of opportunities that they definitely had. Not really much to do for Bindy. So an average performance, but I think Heaton would again look a lot more as a player who gives you confidence in between the sticks. I think Heaton still checks off the box.
Yeah. You've covered a lot of ground there, but we'll get into specifics. The first sort of 15-20 minutes, I think we were a little bit not quite at the races, I would say. Like a bit sloppy in places, a bit thingy. And that was more evident on Fiorentina's goal, which just absolutely fell asleep at the
Yeah,
back, left 2 players unmarked, and it's like in the back of the net. And I was just like, have we not learned from last season at all? Like, we
exactly.
just unmarked people in the box able to free shot and stuff like
We
that.
get
So yeah,
so like fixated on the front post and
just
the
ball
near post.
watching.
There's
Just
yeah,
everybody ball watched and just watched that, and then just ignored everybody behind them. And it's just like, yeah, that was frustrating. But I think after that, we sort of got into the game a little bit, and I saw some really good patterns of play. And the sort of first player I want to talk about is Mason Mount. He's in the thumbnail. I thought Mason Mount was excellent today. I thought he was pressing non-stop, absolute harassing people non-stop. His link-up play between him and Cunha was really good. Him
yeah.
and Bumo was a nice play. When Bruno would come up, he'd knock it off to them. I was really impressed with Mason Mount today. I also think it's a damning indictment on Rasmus Hojlund, isn't it? Because he didn't start and he played Mount up top for the whole game and had him Bumo and stuff. And even when he had substitutions, he didn't bring him on. We unveiled Cesco. So let's talk about Mount first and I'll talk about Hojlund. Yeah, what impressed you about Mount? Because I really enjoyed his performance then. Obviously, he didn't get a goal, but he was involved with a lot of stuff. I really liked his performance.
I think he was a monster of the ball. Every single time we were off the ball, I didn't notice a moment where I couldn't see Mount running when we weren't on the ball.
Yep.
And it's not just his off the ball movement, but even on the ball, like you mentioned, his link up play with Cunha, the way he is able to, knit that attack for that matter. He brought Cunha into the attack, and at moments you could see him and Ahmad actually working quite well. I think every single time that Mount won the ball in the opposition half, he switched it instantly to Ahmad. Ahmad went in with that incisive run. Mbuma actually shifted out wide in a couple of moments when Ahmad went into that narrow channel. So it was quite good to see that blend. That both I could see areas where Ahmad went into the 10, Mbumo shifted on as that wing back. Then you could see Mbumo again pushing on, Ahmad moving out there. So it creates a blend of unpredictableness, which I think is going to trouble opposition teams. But I think Mount deserves a lot of praise. And again, if he is able to stay fit, give us 30-35 games this season, I think he's going to be starting a lot of those games.
Yeah, and I think as well, like you just touched on, I think the chemistry is starting to develop between that front line, but I just think it's not quite there yet. There's not that quite sort of telepathic ability where if that guy's going there, they know the thing. Because like you said, in Boomer would go out wide, which to me would like say Ahmad go inside, like he's dragging the player out. But then he would like pass it out, and it's so the connection's not there yet.
In certain moments, he even ignored him when he was out wide. Yeah,
but I think that will come with time. I think over time we will get that connection and stuff like that. But yeah, I thought Mount was the standout sort of thing in there. Let's just move to Rasmus Hojlund. We've signed Cesco. We got unveiled at the beginning with the other new signings. Looks really sort of impressive. Spent a lot of money on him. He's a pure number 9 and stuff like that. Rasmus Hojlund doesn't get off the bench, doesn't start. Does that say to you he's done? Like he's out? He's on his way out?
I think it is something really big that you've got the only striker you probably still have right now, because Cesco wasn't going to start.
No,
Xerxes is still not back yet. Hojlund is the only striker you've got, and you're still starting with Mount in the 9.
Yeah.
So that says a lot as to how much Amorim actually views him as a squad player for that matter next year. And I think the sign is quite clear. And in fairness to the player as well as the manager, I think Amorim has made the right call, because we don't need 3 strikers moving into next year. And again, Hojlund has had a terrible year last season, but there are still a lot of clubs and leagues where he would go, and I know that he'll do well.
Sure.
And that is why clubs are still interested for him. Napoli were interested for some time. There were links to Inter. There are links now to AC Milan. So he's definitely got a market. And I think for me, sending him out on loan is the better option, because if he sticks it out at United this year, he's not going to get any minutes. Maybe an odd cup game or league cup game, for that matter, but he's not going to get minutes. Xerxes is going to be ahead of him. Cesco is going to be ahead of all of them.
Cheeto as well, you've got.
Cheeto is still there for that matter. Yeah. So his value is only going to get lesser and lesser if he stays at United. I think if he does end up moving to AC Milan, he gets consistent minutes.
Yeah.
Italy is not as if you have to compare it to the Prem, it's not an intense league, and if you
He did all right at Atalanta. He got 9 goals. Like, he did
yeah,
okay. So it seems like a
and
league that would work for him.
I think they've got Allegri now at AC
Yes.
Milan, who plays a striker partnership. So he's not going to be the focal point of the attack, anyways. I think it will be Leao and him. So he might actually look a lot more relaxed and a lot better at a club like Milan. And if he does well, maybe you could get 35-40 off him.
Yep, possible. Let's go to the comments. Let's see what people are saying. T2 Diazu, after now, lads. Some positives, but some saying frailties there. Defense switches off. Yeah, we touched on that. No gas in the middle. We're going to touch on the midfield. Hopefully, Cesco solves the last one. Yeah, we'll definitely touch on Cesco as well. Afternoon, Shreyas, Sam, Ultras. Has Nick Faldo teed off yet? I think tee off time was about 2 o'clock. So, yeah, he should be well underway. And Mbeumo eventually ends up at right wing back just for the crosses. Right 10, he's always playing back to goal. I think he'll get there. I think he's not quite fit yet, but he'll get there. He'll get there. Glenn, with a different opinion. Nobody shined today, my friend. They were awful. I disagree, Glenn, but fair enough. That is your opinion. T2 Diazio, Matt put in a real shift. He's a manager's dream. Great attitude and great first sub. Yeah, I agree. If he can stay fit, he's going to be really, really integral for Amrin this year, but we'll see. Hojlund left out was telling him something by saying nothing. I agree.
Yeah.
Great crosses into the box today. Looked a threat from set pieces. A 6'5" heading monster will be playing. Exactly. That is what I wanted to touch on. The amount of balls that went into that box, especially for Brian Mbeumo. There was a couple of set pieces where you're just thinking he's begging somebody to get on the end of that. And the fact that we've now signed Cesco, who is apparently, like Nick's done the stats and stuff like that, aerially, he's one of the best players in Europe. How excited are you for that? The fact that we're putting balls into the box of that quality, the likes of Brian Mbeumo, and if we could get a monster like that getting the end of it, surely we're going to score a bunch of sort of goals, headed goals from that area.
Yeah, because he wins a lot of his headers as well. So even when you're trying to clear the ball out and you're under pressure, you've got someone up ahead who knows actually how to control that aerial ball and make sure that you still maintain possession, actually break out of the pressure. So I think Cesco is going to eliminate a lot of our issues next year. He's rapid. Physically, he's quite capable, I think, to handle the intensity of the Premier League and the different type of centre backs that will be coming, that he will be coming up against in the league. And it will be good to see a player who's decent in the air in that final third, because at United I don't remember the last time we had that since Ronaldo. So
it's been a while. It has been a while.
It's been you could say 4 to 5 years now. So I think Cesco is going to, I think he's more well-rounded as a striker for the Prem. He's more well-rounded than any of the other strikers we have at the moment.
Yeah, I agree. Couple more comments. Cunha and Mbeumo look sharp. Can't wait to see Cesco paired up with him. Mount was clearly just a message to Hojlund to tell me he isn't wanted at the club. Every time the camera panned to Hojlund, he looked pissed. Yeah, I don't blame him. Cannot do a loan for Hojlund. It stinks on loan if you use the money simple. Yeah, I would rather get money for him and reinvest that into the guy I'm going to talk about next. Sup, Sam, Shreyas, you boys well. Sorry I'm late. No worries, James. Better late than never, mate. Welcome. And then, Johnny Hill's mentioned the guy I want to talk about. Also, readers assigned Belieber main partner fixes our midfield for years. That was an issue I saw. I mean, we've seen it pretty much all preseason and we've spoken about it. The midfield, Casemiro was struggling to cover a lot of the ground and the space.
Yeah.
He did make some good tackles and his passing forward is definitely effective, but he was struggling to clear space. Then that physicality when him and Bruno are playing is a bit lacking. And I saw a lot of sort of balls being played straight through the middle from Fiorentina, Moise Kean getting on the end of him and stuff like that. Like you said, Fagioli was involved. That was it Combe or Ohm? I can't remember. Sohm?
Yeah.
The guy who scored. Yeah. He was involved in quite a lot in that space, in that sort of midfield 10 area. So, yeah, is that a worry for you now? Like the midfield, where we have to go get a midfielder sorted. And, yeah, I'm not saying we're going to get Belieber, but I think if we get him, that solves so many issues in that midfield for me.
It's going to be a game changer for us. Because, look, we need some consistency in that midfield. And we need it quite badly because the one game where Menu and Ugarte actually worked and they covered ground, they made recovery runs, they were able to impose their physicality in the on the opposition. That team looked completely different to anything that we've seen. But the thing is, we need consistency week in and week out for those
Yeah.
players to implement that sort of play style every single week. And that is something that I'm not sold on when I have to look at Menu, when I have to look at Ugarte. I think Menu definitely has the capability. Even Ugarte definitely has the capability. Both are still youngsters. Both have room for development. But this team needs a lot more. And I think next season, when the pressure is going to be definitely on us, and you have the opportunity to sign someone like Baliba, I think you need to get him because pace, he's got it. On the ball, he's got it. When you look at the way he switches the ball out for that matter as well, his passing vision is quite decent.
Yep.
So if you pair him up with someone like Bruno, you have two players who can be those deep line playmakers, and both of them are just as capable to actually, ping the ball out wide to either flank. So I think Baliba is definitely someone, if the opportunity presents itself and there is even a 50% chance of us signing Baliba, I think United definitely need to go for it. And I think I heard rumors that if it isn't Baliba, it might be Adam Wharton, who's just, I think, again,
he's up
just
there.
as effective.
He's a very good player.
He's definitely up there. And I think next year both of them will, there will be a lot more clubs in the running for both of these guys. So if you can get either of them this season, could solve a lot of problems.
I think this summer, if you can get one of them, you steal a march on the likes of a Liverpool and Arsenal, a Chelsea,
City,
those kind of guys, City, they'll be looking at those guys next season. Like, obviously, Liverpool have spent quite a lot of money this summer, so I don't think they'd be able to go for them. Chelsea seem to be able to spend money no matter what, so you can't rule them out ever. But they seem to raid Brighton every year, though, Chelsea, don't they? They just take all their players, so be interesting.
Yeah.
Arsenal have got their midfield now. Declan Rice, Zubimendi. Seems unlikely that they would go for him this year if they were going to go for somebody like that. So, yeah, you're right. I think if we're going to go for him, it has to be this summer. Like, we at least have to try. We have to try and get him because I think he is, much like Cesco is going to be a game changer for our front line. I think Baliba is that game changer for the midfield because I think defense-wise, I think we're pretty solid. Like, I think Dorgu is a really good player. I think Yoro is phenomenally good. Aiden Heaven looked excellent. Maguire looked good. Ahmad at right wing back, I really like as well. And then we've got other options. Leach is still yet to come back. De Ligt is just on his way back. So I think we've got
Maz is there still.
Mazraoui is still yet to come back. Fredriksson's coming through as well. So I think we're really stacked in the defensive line. So I think if we can get a Baliba in there, Cesco starts playing like top, I think we're on our way. But yeah, it's all about that
just
midfield.
The middle of the park, the people who can connect these two departments. If we can sort it out, I think United can do real damage next season.
Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting. But there's a couple of quotes from Ruben Amorim. Let's just get into those. He said, "At times we struggle without the reference of a striker. We now have a new striker. Yes, we do. It'd be interesting to see." He said, "I thought we had some difficulties as they had a lot of mobility. We can do better, but I think it was a perfect game of preparation." He said, "I think we lack fluidity in the game. We could do better, but it's a perfect game to show us we need to improve in different areas that we will struggle in." I also think it's a pretty much a sort of like we spoke about Hojlund, the message to Hojlund. I think it's a message to Ineos as well to show this midfield needs somebody to come in and sort of fix this because I just don't think any of the players that we've got fit there. Like, I think if you put Baliba in there, you could put him next to Manu, you could put him next to Bruno, you could put him next to Casemiro, and it all works. But I just don't think any of the current combination works for me. But we'll see what happens. T2 Diazzo, I feel like it's now or never for Baliba. We won't be the only suitors next summer. There's an opportunity. Yeah, exactly. Andy Williams, I wonder who Andy Minter was hinting at United could offer Brighton because it's the bomb squad. I doubt it's the bomb squad players. Yeah, Andy Minter made a quote basically saying that Baliba's agent is willing to take less commission. Baliba is interested, and Brighton are interested in a couple of United's players that we could offer as like an exchange in terms of getting Baliba. Who do you think we could send to Brighton? I know Toby Collier's been chucked around, but I saw a news thing saying it won't be him. But yeah, who do you think would benefit to sort of going to Brighton?
Ugarte good. Reason being, Brighton don't need that sort of player in that CDN department that needs to sweep up the ball, carry up the ball, and do everything. They need a destroyer.
Yeah.
If you look at the way Baliba plays, he's being underutilized at Brighton because he's not being allowed to be as box to box, or you could say, as much of an all-rounder as he actually is. If Ugarte goes there, Ugarte will be quite decent because you look at the midfield, they've got Ayari alongside him. You've got the likes of Danny Welbeck sometimes moving into the 10 and actually making it a three-size midfield. So it's quite well rounded if you look at their midfield, because they've got designated areas that these two will be progressing, or this one player would be progressing. These two will be keep making sure that we have someone to put the fires out. And you look at Ugarte, he's best at those things when you just put fires out, play it out of danger, and just maintain your line. That's what he's best at. What he's not good at is carrying the ball through players or breaking defensive lines through passes. I think Ugarte could be someone who they could get off us. Apart from that, I don't think that in any world United would offer Kobe Mainoo. I think Mainoo is there to stay. Collier is not going. That leaves you with Cass. And I don't think Casemiro is someone who would go to Brighton.
No.
I think the only one, I think genuinely the only one, if they're talking midfielders, is Ugarte. Maybe, if they're expanding their scope to more players.
I think Sekou Kone would be a good option to go there.
On loan,
good development, playing a decent team who plays a great style, experience in the Premier League. Because I think with the midfield we got, I don't think he's going to get many minutes. And there was rumours that he was going on loan to Lausanne, but apparently that's not happening now. So I think that'd be a great option for him to go there. But we'll see. We'll keep our eye on that. A little bit of a conspiracy theory, but I've just seen Brighton play Wolfsburg today. He is not on the thing because of a knock, believer. He's not in the team. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
That's an interesting development.
Quite fishy.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Was there anybody else you wanted to shout out that you thought you wanted to sort of talk about and who sort of stood out to you in the game today that we haven't mentioned?
I think the one who deserved the most praise is definitely Mason Mount.
Yes.
Like off the table, he's an amazing player. I think besides that, I think Bruno was a little unlucky because I think he tried to close down spaces a lot while he was trying to press, but Casemiro just honestly doesn't really have the legs to make those sort of runs anymore.
Yeah.
So that was the area where you could see a team like Fiorentina actually, playing out the press and actually beating us in the press every single time we won the ball off them. So I think apart from that, not really much to mention because Euro has been phenomenal. I think if you have to look at it from consistency standards, like your most consistent performers throughout, this entire preseason, Euro is there, Bruno is there, Cunha is there, Dorgu is there.
Yes.
These four, I think, are my top four performers.
Yeah. Should we talk about your boy, David De Gea?
Yeah.
Got his a really nice reception when he came out to warm up. Got a nice sort of like cheers and chanting from the crowd and stuff like that. Of course, he made an absolutely fantastic save when we tried to score a goal. Was it Yoro with the header that he saved?
Yeah.
Yeah, very unlucky.
Aiden
Heaven, sorry. Yeah. Unlucky. Great save from him. They took him off, I think, like 83 minutes so he could get a standing ovation for the crowd. Yeah, thoughts on David De Gea? Because, of course, he made a great save to stop us scoring, didn't he?
He's still class. Yeah. He's honestly still class. And I think for some reason, I don't know how, this is the best I've seen David De Gea distribute the ball at Old Trafford. Like, honestly.
I've never seen him do that for us. Never seen him do that for us.
Yeah, like he's kicking the ball and it's going to the left flank, right flank. They're heading it into Keane and they're going on attacks. I was surprised to see that.
Yeah.
And apart from that as well, I think short stopping wise, there honestly haven't been a lot of keepers better than him in the Prem at his best. So again, a massive shout out to the guy because he is probably one of the only players who's left United on bad terms and still hasn't really said anything bad about the club. Every other player has had something bad or some interview or something else coming out in the media that things aren't working. I was this, I was that, manager was this, manager was that. Yeah. But he's kept his, quite a professional relationship with United even after leaving the club.
He's a class act, isn't he? Like he always has been. Like he's always been that guy. So.
And I'm quite happy to see him kill it at Fiorentina. He's doing very well. And again, I hope he does brilliant for them next year in as well, because last year he was, I think, in the top 5 in Serie A when it came to keepers. So he still got it.
Yeah. No, I was really happy to see him. I'm glad he got the farewell that he didn't get when he left. He got to obviously the gift from Bruno and the cheer from the crowd. So yeah, really happy to see that. So I'm glad he came back and got that. The only other thing we can touch on maybe before we go is a penalty shootout, and yeah, I wasn't expecting a penalty shootout. I don't know why, but apparently it's the Snapdragon Cup, so there has to be a winner.
Yeah.
Penalty shootout. Let's just touch on Ahmad's penalty, because that was fucking disgraceful. What was that? Like, Jesus. Like, really good penalties all the way up, and then Ahmad strolls up with... It wasn't quite a Panenka, but it looked a lot like one.
Yeah.
That was ridiculous, wasn't
it? It's good it got in. Like,
yes,
it went in. Yeah. But, yeah, like you mentioned, if he does that, like if... Hypothetical scenario, we are in an FA Cup. It's a semis
and
or a finals for that matter.
That is a problem. That is a problem. But yeah, Ahmad, the confidence. I love it, lad. It goes in.
Yeah.
But yeah, be careful.
I mean, he backs
be
himself.
Careful.
And
yeah, of course.
I think apart from that, Cunha's penalty was quite chill, quite composed.
Very confident penalty, that.
I think after seeing those pens, Kobe just thought in his head, I'm going straight for it.
Oh yeah, I'm just smashing this. I'm not going to Panenka this or like do the thing. I'm just smashing this in the back of net. But yeah, it's a sign off. And all in all, I think if we just round up the preseason, it's been a pretty positive preseason, I would say.
It has been.
The Leeds game was a bit sort of underwhelming, but obviously we're just coming off a really long season and people are still getting back to fitness. I think we only had Cunha in the team, the new signings. But a really good performance against Bournemouth. I thought that was excellent. A good performance against Everton in parts. West Ham, I thought the first half were really good. And then when they made the changes, I thought things went down a little bit. And then Fiorentina, I think, barring the first 10 minutes of each half, I thought we were a better team and we deserved to sort of win those games. But yeah, what are your thoughts on preseason overall? Happy with the way it's gone?
I'm quite glad because, again, at least some of the areas where we thought our problems lied, I can see us improving on them. Pressing is... I think it is much better than I've seen anything like, post Fergie. I think this is the best press I've ever seen United do. Secondly, I think attack looks a lot more fluid. I think that wing back, inside 10, and that blend on combination, I think it's working a lot better with the players that we've got. So attack, I'm quite happy with. Defense, I'm quite happy with. I think Lenny Yoro is the champ of this preseason, number one.
Yep.
And apart from that, the problem areas that we saw last year in our midfield, that there are spaces being left behind and all that, I think the team looks a lot more compact and organized, no doubt about it. I think it is on the ball that in moments we can see those spaces again. It is not as big as it was last year, that it is just in complete disarray for the entire 90. It's
definitely an issue though, still. It's definitely...
Yeah, it is still an issue. But I think Amorim has definitely worked on it a bit, so that at least, even if it does occur, because if we don't sign a midfielder, it's going to happen. But at least it doesn't happen for the full 90. If it happens for 15 to 20 minutes of a spell, which Bournemouth actually had that 15-20 minutes.
Yeah.
But again, it went compact. Players woke up, players realized, and we again grew back into the game. So there are definitely improvements, but the warning signs are again there. And I think the biggest warning sign we still got is the midfield. I think defense, I'm happy. Attack, I'm happy. Wing backs, I'm happy. Midfield, we need to sort it out.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think we were looking at this transfer window early on, and we were sort of going, Cunha is the only one in. Brumo's taking too long. We later found out that's Brentford, because we solved the Cesco deal within a matter of days. We got that done really quickly.
Yeah.
So I don't think that was on United. So I think we've resolved, obviously last year goal scoring was a big problem. I think we've resolved that. Brought in 2 really good forwards and a striker. Potentially, if we got a midfielder, we've solved 90% of our issues. The only issue left standing is the goalkeeping issue. And we were speaking before, we're not going to get every position solved in the summer. we're getting pretty damn close to it, though,
Yeah.
aren't we? Like, we got pretty damn close. Like, I don't think a window could go much better than it's been going. I don't know about you, but yeah, I thought that the transfer window has been really good.
I think if it was any other club, like for that matter, if it was Liverpool who finished 15th, they wouldn't have been able to sort out the amount of issues we've sorted out in one window itself. City might have been able to, Chelsea might have been able
Well,
to, but someone like Arsenal.
It took Klopp, what, 3 years to get all these players in and get players out before he started competing. So it's going to be interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, because now you look at this team, the only problem we've got is quality midfield depth, in my opinion. Because we've still got depth in the wing back department. You've got a lot of options now in the attack to work
and the
with.
centre backs as well.
Centre backs are stacked. The only two areas, quality, on like you mentioned it a lot of times on this channel as well. We need two midfielders. We need two midfielders. We need two midfielders. Those two midfielders and one goalkeeper.
Yeah.
These three players. Once we get these three players, I think United have a full squad to go at it.
Yeah, I agree. I hope and pray that we get a midfielder in. I want it to be Belieber, but if it's not Belieber, as long as we get a midfielder in, I will be happy, because I think that is the position that I've been saying all summer. That is position I think, and it was a position I was saying that I would rather spend whatever we spent on Cesco, I'd spend on a midfielder. But if we could do both, fantastic. I'm down for it. But I do think Cesco changes a lot of things as well. I'm excited to see if he starts against Arsenal. That'll be a weird one, wouldn't it? Arsenal's line up with Gyökeres and we line up with Cesco. That's going to be a weird day.
It's going to be a weird day, but on top of that, I think it's going to be a highly heated affair.
Yeah, I can't
think
wait.
It's going to be very heated at Old Trafford.
Yeah, we're going to have a preview for that this week, so do keep an eye out. I was going to go through the last of the comments and then we'll get out of here. Andy Williams, I definitely would be on a player over 100k. I think he's referring to the Brighton thing. Lumen, big up to you, mate. T2 Diazu, he won't let this go, Shreyas. Yoda was outstanding, a real dominatrix. That's going to live with you forever, mate. I'm sorry. My damn United, we need to keep Ugarte for sure, Shreyas. Amram is concerned we didn't have a second Ugarte type. Isn't this the reason we're going for Belieber? I think Ugarte is more, like you said, a destroyer, whereas I think Belieber has got a bit more well-rounded game to him. So I think Ugarte would be useful when we're winning a game and we need to shut it down and we bring him on just to break stuff up. And I think that's going to be the difference, but we'll see. I've just come back from the game, Joshua Owen. Luciano Gomi would be a good alternative and cheaper than Belieber. I need to look at him. That'll be interesting. 21 is coming. Calm down, T2. Calm down, mate. Like, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Which year are you implying?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's we'll see. Anton Stack is trending on Twitter. That's depressing. That's really depressing.
The one player
we've talked about for ages, and he's trending on Twitter. God damn it. He would have been a good player. But yeah, T2 with the Evil said, I never said which year. Good point, mate. Good point.
Yeah.
Right, we'll call it there. United's preseason is done. We've won 2 trophies. We're undefeated as well, aren't we? Undefeated preseason?
We're undefeated.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Yeah. We're going to face Arsenal on Saturday. There will be a preview this week, so look out for that. Keep an eye on all the socials. If we do sign Belieber, if we do sign a goalkeeper, it will be on there, so please do keep your eye out for that. I'm hoping it comes true. I've been speaking to James from the Muppeteers. We're going to try and get him on this week. He's going to give us our thoughts on preseason because he was on the tour in America and upcoming transfers because he's been in the know, so please do keep an eye out for that. Shreyas, thank you for coming on. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
No worries. Thank you, everybody, in the chat. All the usual guys: Sid the Whistle, T2, My Damn United, Andy Williams, James McGrogan, Andy Williams. Am I missing anybody out? I'm sure I am, but thank you very much. I appreciate everybody in the chat. We will see you all tomorrow, or if something breaks tonight, we might see you later tonight. Appreciate you all. Peace.
Yeah.